what are you challenging them to continue to be better at as you guys continue to go through the season?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing process. We're trying to get better and better every day. Um, so it's a great challenge to say, okay, yeah, we had some success, and I give them a lot of credit. I think Temple's got a very bright future and a young, talented team, but we will play better offenses. So we can't start reading our clippings because we've had a good game or a couple turnovers. That does not make a great defense, and that's what we're in pursuit of. So we just got to keep going.
And I guess how have they, players been handling that for success? Staying level.
Yeah,
Not getting too big.
really well. Particularly, I think due to some of our senior leadership, the Quindell Johnsons and Zay Cullens and Dallas Duckworth and Jalen Allen, those type of guys. They know how hard it is, and they know. 3-point outing is hard to come by. Those things don't happen often, and we're not that far removed from a bunch of points being scored on us and those things. So they get it, and they more than anything they help us at practice and stay focused in meetings and those kind of things.
This Houston offense has obviously, they had a good test against Tulane, but how do you, as a coach, kind of study that and see, okay, how can we adjust to what kind of worked for Tulane's defense, but also apply to what you guys can do against Houston?
Yeah, you're always looking for what has worked, what have other teams had success with. So, whether it's Tulane or other teams that they've played, we try to, with any opponent, you say, okay, well, what have they not been great at, going against and those things. And, you cultivate some ideas from there. But at the end of the day, you got to be real careful about how much you try to do that's outside of what you do well and you do regularly. So.
And they obviously put in a challenge with not just a tough quarterback, but also a tough receiver in Dell. How do you guys see what they can do, and just kind of how do you evaluate both of them, what they can do on paper so far?
Oh, yeah. I mean, quarterback is an outstanding player. I don't know him, but he strikes me as a really tough person. I mean, he runs the ball hard, and he's taking some hits, and he keeps going. He stands in the pocket, and I mean, he's an impressive kid to watch and young man to watch. Not a kid. And again, just as a fan of football, I appreciate the way he plays the game. Dell is explosive. He is explosive. I mean, he had an opportunity last year to be around some top-tier wideouts every day at practice, and man, he's as explosive as those guys at times. He's a really, really gifted player, and but a scrapper also. It's not just talent. I mean, he attacks the ball and does a great job run after the catch. He blocks, for his teammates, and we certainly respect not just those guys, but really their whole offense. I mean, it's multiple guys at tailback that are really good players, and I think it's a really long and athletic offensive line, and so we've got our work cut out for us.
I know it's important to get off to an early start in every game, but with Houston being a strong second half team offensively, is that emphasis even more this week going into the season?
I think it's more about us. We want to get a great start because that's who we want to be, and you talk about the second half. I thought we did a better job last week than we have done in the last several weeks of finishing out the game and keeping points off the board in the fourth quarter. And they've proven to be, as you mentioned, an effective second half offense. So, we're hoping for a fast start and a fast finish, but we're just going to keep playing every play and see what happens.
The linebackers, I think, we obviously talk about Zay, but Tyler got his first pick. Jeffrey's played well, Sincere's played well, obviously. Well, what can you say about this group not maintaining, but more just how they've played as a group, just kind of, being an anchor in that front seven, but also making plays in the past?
Absolutely. And those guys do a great job, and they work exceptionally hard, and they're very talented. But I think we have the best linebackers coach in the country, Jordan Hankins. If you don't believe me, just come out to practice and watch the guy coach. I mean, he's exceptional. He probably makes more decisions for our defense than I do. I mean, when he tells me stuff, I say, that's a great idea, let's do that. He does an awesome job with his players, getting them to play hard, and he's very challenging and very demanding. But he's done an awesome job with that group.
If you explain that process a little bit, when you say he makes more decisions, what exactly is that process like where you and him kind of coordinate?
Yeah, we all sit in a room for hours on end, Evan, for hours on end every day. So, game planning is a group effort, and decisions are made. I mean, I guess ultimately I have to decide whether it's a yes or a no, but I'm not that smart, quite frankly. So, I like to listen to people that are smarter than me, and he's one of them. And he's got great ideas, and I don't care where a good idea comes from. I just like ideas that work, and have solid reasons for why we use them. And that's what Jordan does. He always has great ideas and solid reasons for why he's suggesting things. And so every coach has input, and feedback, but Jordan is a guy that day in and day out has great feedback for our defense.
And I think more what I was looking for, I guess, was during games. I guess since he's in the field.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I misunderstood your question. Yeah.
How was that kind of
No, yeah, I mean, he sees the game exceptionally well, particularly from up there. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's constant feedback from Jordan Hankins and, there's some other guys involved and help us get organized on the sideline during game day. But, yeah, I trust him as much as I've ever trusted a coach. So if he says, hey, this is what they're doing and here's what I think we can do, then that's usually what we're doing.
When you have takeaways that are stemmed from a tip pass that falls into another player's hands and being in the right moment, how does that help just you be able to hone in on the fact that, like, if you do your job and play your role, these type of things can happen?
Yeah, absolutely. We say make the plays you're supposed to make and make a few more with effort. I think where you can get jammed up, and I think at times for us early in the year, we had some guys trying to play outside of themselves, outside of their job description to kind of search to make plays. And I think what we've done is, in the last couple of weeks, is sort of settle into, okay, exactly what our job is and trusting that. And then again, once you know your job really well and you understand why you're doing it, then it just becomes about studying the offense and the opponent and knowing formations and down and distances and those things that help lead to, maybe it's the difference between a near miss and a ball that does get batted up in the air.
How important is it going to be for the defensive line to do their job this week in order to get the win?
We've really kind of played as our D-line has played, and they did really well in the last game. And again, even the game before that when North Texas had a really efficient rushing attack, I thought for the most part we played the runs really well in that game. And again, a lot of credit to our front seven and Kyle Pope, what he does. But, as with any game, I mean, if a D-line dominates a game, it's hard to make any game of it. So, again, I give a lot of props to Houston's front, their offensive line. I think they're big and athletic, and they do a good job, and they're really well coached, and they come off the ball in a run game. So it'll be a great challenge for us.
You mentioned you guys are going to probably face, better offenses, more experienced QBs. So I guess how do you kind of just, like you said, take from what you did these first 5 games, but now getting into maybe conference play? How do you take what you did, knowing that what maybe worked against a younger quarterback may not be as effective or different than, say, a more experienced quarterback or an offense a little more potent?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, for one, I'd say, that's why they pay the quarterbacks in the NFL, the really good ones. That's why they pay them so much, because they're just a really good quarterback is so hard to defend, and so you try to be multiple and you try to create different looks, but at the end of the day, you have to again walk a fine line of what it is that you do well. So we want to continue to gain confidence coming off of having played pretty well and see what we can do that's different enough, but try to play within ourselves at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.